never really thought that I'm gonna actually write a book. So the idea that me writing a book was from a different planet. The way the book got started is one weekend, I says, you know what? If I would try to explain an idea to somebody, how would I explain it? How can I help you get out of the truck, right? To kind of grow the business. And I sat down on a Google Doc and I just started to write chapters. And I didn't even think about chapter, I just wrote kind of bullet points of how I'm going to go about it. I spent about half an hour just sitting down and just putting it together. The day after, in the morning, I wake up and says, you know what, let me just go back to it. And now I'm going to take each bullet point and I will expand it a little bit more. So I spent about an hour. So, you know, I'm going to write some more things about it. And I said, okay, it's coming up. I see it's taking kind of a shape of itself. So every day for about a week, I get up really early in the morning. I got up, I'm sitting another half an hour, another hour, another 40 minutes. A week out, suddenly I have 40 pages of get out of the truck. So then I said, okay, if I got to 40 pages, why don't I just take it and make it into a book? Writing is something that never came easy to me. So 10 years ago, when I started my own process of self-awareness and kind of getting to know my thoughts and my desires and what's going on, I started a new habit that every morning when I wake up, I write. So I started with writing appreciation or writing my visions or goals or rewriting some inspiration that I have. It's building a muscle. I used to have a notebook and I bought it. I make sure that every morning when I wake up it's in front of me. When I started 10 years ago, I used to open it, sit in front of it, have no idea what to write. Sometime I wrote a sentence or two and then I closed it and I left it alone. 6 months in, I wrote a full page. A year in, suddenly I'm writing 2-3 pages without even thinking about it, just comes out of me. So this is where the writing came into my life. I think it's absolutely helped me process my thought, right? And kind of have a beginning, middle, and end to it. But I think a bigger part for me in the beginning was just to let go and write. So even if it's a mess, just the practice for me, for my own development, just write whatever comes to my mind. My goal was to get to a point that there's like a free flow in a way, that I'm not trying to think too much, just trust and just let go. The same way that now I'm just talking, I'm not sure what I'm going to answer, right? But it just kind of goes through me. The same way I wanted to get to that point in writing. What was more interesting is going back and rereading what I wrote. Now I've been doing it for 10 years. So I can now have an insight into my own thinking and my own ideas and see the development over time. Because it's black and white, it's on the page. I can see how I process information, how I shared information. Having the ability to flow, then learning how to put a more structure on it after I got the flow, but then the ability to go back and look at it. So the goal of doing it is really for my own self-development. I didn't think that I'm going to write a book. I didn't think that I'm going to make these videos today. I always enjoyed and I always had a lot of satisfaction and fun when I saw that I'm able to help somebody else grow. But I never saw it as one day I want to write a book. I was so closed off the idea of writing a book. The idea of buying a notebook and writing something every morning was a struggle for me. Like, I'm going to do it. Yes, Idan, go buy the notebook. No, I'm not going to buy it. No, go buy it. So I had this own conversation with myself. The idea that now I just published the second book is crazy. I think the most basic way of looking at it is everything that you do is an extension of you. So when we get ourselves to communicate better, if I'm doing it through writing or singing or whatever it is, whenever you get better in communicating, that will go into everything else that you do. So if I learn now how to be in a flow mindset and just trust myself and share what I'm doing, I'm developing the muscles of communication. So that comes into the business. If before I tried to explain an idea to my team or to somebody and it was harder for me to get him to understand the idea, now suddenly after 6 months of writing and rewriting and seeing how I'm thinking and having insight into it, then suddenly I'm sitting with the person and I can get him to understand the idea in 20 seconds. I'm like, okay, it's working. Building the muscle itself opens up new opportunities. So I think it wasn't it's a series of events. It's a series of internal shifts. One of my first shift is nothing is concrete. I noticed that my own ideas and beliefs about what's good or bad or whatever it is are just things that are acquired over time. And suddenly when I start having insight into my own thinking, I'm saying, okay, why do I think that? This is not even real. Why do I have this fear? It's just an idea that I had. And then the second part of it was, and that wasn't an easy realization, that I'm really an idea to some degree. I'm holding the idea of what Idan, who is Idan? I'm holding an idea of who is you. And then when you start breaking down these ideas, it's like, oh wow, okay, there's so much freedom. And then I realized, okay, if I'm able to change that part, I can probably start changing other areas of my life. So when my self-value as a person moved from how much money I have to I'm a person and I'm here, other things around it start shifting as my self-confidence, the way I'm interacting with things. So if my self-confidence and my relationship to the situation itself change, what just happened change as well. It's not the situation that determines how I feel, it's how I feel that determines the situation. If somebody wants to now embody the idea of I can evolve, I can change if I think today in a certain way and I'm experiencing life in a certain way, I want to get out of it. One of the things that I'm telling people, and they ask me, Dan, I want to start, what can I do tomorrow? And I say, okay, if you brush your teeth with your right hand, start brushing it with your left hand. You break the habit, because we live in a cloud of the same thought, the same thing. If you think about it, when you wake up, before you go to work, when you get to work, 80% of your day is pretty much the same thing. So what we want to start doing, we want to start breaking that habit. You wake up in the morning, you're not thinking twice, you're grabbing your toothbrush and you're brushing your teeth. Not even conscious about it. So I'm not going to do it with my right hand, I'm going to do it with my left hand. Suddenly what you're telling your brain, something is changing. And because it's not that comfortable to brush your teeth with your left hand, now you need to really think about it when you're brushing your teeth. So it keeps you conscious and it breaks the habit of having exactly the same thoughts and doing things on automatic. Same thing I'm telling people, if you put your right shoes first, put your left shoe first, because it's exactly the same thing. I'm just looking for opportunities to make them conscious. Practicing appreciation. One of the things that I'm telling my friends, every time before you drink a glass of water, say thank you for a second. Like, Idan, how is going to change my life? I said, don't worry about it, just do it. So now it's becoming, putting my shoes, I need to be conscious. Okay, I'm waking up for a second for the same thoughts. Brushing my teeth, I need to be conscious for a second. Drinking water, I need to be conscious for a second. So now we slowly we're breaking this habit of the same things every day. So you start with 1, you go to 2, you go to 3, and then 4, 5, 6, and now you're more awake, and now you're conscious of, I can create my reality, I can create my day.